All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. It is Tuesday. That means it's $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk. Every handicapper will have a $5 play up at some point. I will have one. I don't know what it's going to be yet. If I play baseball, it'll be this, or I'll get a football play out. We'll get something up for $5. We always do. Bryan, Leonard, welcome in. Anything up for sale for $5 on Tuesday so far?
Yeah, I put up a play last night. It's on today's college football. We're on an 11-3 run in college football, and you can get that normally $25. It's a 4% play, I believe. $25, and you only get it. Be able to get it today for $5. I do want to point out, is since Brandon obviously isn't with us, that all of our baseball plays from now through the playoffs, unless it's a 5% play, will be up for $9. And since we try to be as truthful as possible on this show, I had a 5% in hockey yesterday. One of those games where the team was down 1-0 late. I had Ottawa, and at the end of the game, everybody pulls goalies. The whole thing, they lose 4-1. But I went 3-1 overall, including an easy winner on the over in the baseball game that we talked about yesterday, the Toronto game. A lot of scoring in that Seattle-Toronto game, and I thought the line move was a bad one when it was originally out there, and it was 6 runs scored in the first 2 innings. So overall, we both basically broke even, but I hate to lose the 5% plays. And so I just want to let everybody know I apologize for that. And we're going to go at it again today in hockey. 2-1 overall yesterday, and then 1-0 in baseball.
I had one play yesterday. It was a 5%er. It was the Atlanta Falcons. It won, and I watched it with all Bills fans. So I went I went to a Bills watch party at the casino with action on the Falcons. So that's always fun. And that's always a good time. And we got, I would have been content with a close Bills win. But hey, you know what? I got out of there. Falcons won the game. Probably should have been easy. I was never really that concerned. I got to say, actually, I'll take that back. When the touchdown before the half got called off, which was like a crazy Hail Mary play that they ruled him out at like the 1. And then the Bills came out of the locker room and scored. I could feel the energy in the building because, again, I'm in Central New York. It's all Bills fans. And I'm just like, I am going to be sweating this +4. I know how this goes. I've seen this story before. I know how this goes. And I was ready for it, but Bills just kept turning the ball over. Falcons ended up getting it done, so we didn't even need the +4. Great result, and I had a great weekend in football. 2 5% winners. I went 3-0 overall. I've hit 4 NFL plays in a row. So, it's going well on that side for me. College football, still negative a little bit, but football season has been decent to this point. But it's still baseball season, Bryan, Leonard, and we still have Major League Baseball playoffs. Tonight, it's just one game. It's game 2, Dodgers-Brewers. So let's get into it. My first thought here when I saw the lines come out, I didn't really agree with the Brewers being an underdog in this game. I understand why they're an underdog in this game. I get it. But after watching Roberts at the end of that game and Sasaki having to come out and then trying and sort of get into trouble, I don't know if the Dodgers get away with another close win at this point in this playoffs. Dave Roberts is going to bite them at some point. This bullpen's going to bite them at some point. Could it be here? What do you think?
They bit him yesterday. I mean, he brings Trinan in, and I turned to the wife. I go, "Oh, here he is again." And sure enough, he walks a guy, and then he should have hit the batter with the bases loaded. The batter instinctively moved his leg out of the way. And my wife says, "Why didn't he let it hit him?" I said, your entire life when you're a baseball player, you're trying to avoid getting hit. And after the game, he said, "I made a mistake. I should have let it hit him." And that would have tied the game. And then they still had the bases loaded with the 2 out. But that's the way it is. You can't change your instincts. I mean, he's gone his entire life without trying to get hit. And now all of a sudden it happens. But yeah, to bring Trinan in there, I don't know what he's got, naked pictures of the coach or something. I don't understand what it is, but the starter goes 8 innings, walks 0 batters, gives up 1 hit, and the Dodgers still should have maybe lost that game. You do have to have some concerns. Peralta last time did not pitch well, so I would expect a nice bounce back from him. Yamamoto has been great all season long, but we're looking at the Dodgers right now about the 125 range. Total is 7 to the over, minus 25 or so. There is some 7.5s out there, the same number, about a minus 25 or so. So we're looking at 7.25, according to Steve Fezzik. And should be another really good game here. I do have to point out that when you take a look at this Dodgers lineup, Shohei Ohtani is really struggling right now. And even the best, we've seen other players struggle. It's not a good time to do it in the playoffs. We see Kershaw do it all the time, and it's somehow got at least in my opinion, a bad reputation because of it. But it happens. And I said that as soon as Ohtani started pitching, that his hitting would suffer, and it sure has. He's still a hell of a player, the best player, overall player in baseball, but he's not hitting. And yesterday, they made a move where they walked Ohtani to get to Betts. And I saw an article the other day, and I'm terrible about remembering names who posted stuff. But Betts in his life, his entire career, he's got like a 583 batting average when somebody walks before him and they do it intentionally. And they were able to get out of it. And I thought, well, that's a good sign there. And sure enough, it kept him in the ball game. But when your best player isn't hitting and you've got a bullpen that, other than, the normal closer yesterday who didn't pitch well, and that's Sasaki, they've struggled a little bit in that regard. So it's hard to lay that number on the road. But, we've got another great pitcher. And Milwaukee's a guy, and we said it yesterday, and we made a good big point about this. If Smith is catching, it really slows down the Milwaukee running game. They had one steal yesterday. If Smith, and plus we don't get anybody on base, you get one hit and 0 walks. It's going to be tough for Milwaukee to score, and they're going against a really good pitcher in Yamamoto today. The park factor is showing home run percent 5% over normal, double and triple 8% less, singles 9% less, and runs 8% less. So we should get probably a lower scoring game here when we're taking a look at the starters in this one on the StatCast. We've got Yamamoto's just been terrific. Comes in with a 2.49 ERA, 2.73 expected, 0.99 whip. He does in the walk rate, 38th percentile. That's the worst thing that he does. Just those 6 pitches. But basically a 4-seamer, about league average, a little bit more better than league average. And he's been very good all season long. So it's tough to find any problems with him. And then when you get to Freddie Peralta, he's also been great, but he's already up 176.2 innings. Last year, 173.2. Prior year, 165.2. So his innings, he's thrown a lot of innings over the last 3 years. Comes in with a 2.70 ERA, 3.47 expected, 1.08 whip. He also has problems with his walk rate, only the 30th percentile, barrel rate 32nd, ground ball 25th. So it could possibly be a situation where the Dodgers get a bloop and a blast, and that may be all they need in this game. I think the line is about where I would make it without looking into any props or anything this early in the morning. It's probably going to be a pass for me. And maybe we get some value on Milwaukee when we go back to LA. They'll be bigger underdogs. And as Milwaukee has shown all year long, they can win on the road as well as they can at home. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably, at this point, sit this one out and look for a bigger number once Milwaukee gets on the road. And especially if they're down 2-0, you would think that the Dodgers, the casual fans that don't normally bet baseball, will play the Dodgers, and maybe we'll get some better numbers there. But today, unfortunately, I don't have much to add.
Yeah, and let me just rephrase. So, I don't disagree with where the game is priced. I make the Brewers personally a very slight favorite here, but I don't disagree with the fact that the books have the Dodgers and Yamamoto a slight favorite. I think that number is fully where I expected it to be. And I still go back to our conversation yesterday. I still think the Dodgers are the best team that's left in the of the 4 teams in the playoffs. Now, I expect this series to be somewhat competitive. I'd be a little bit surprised if the Dodgers just come in and wipe the Brewers out in 4 games. I think that the Milwaukee's gonna win at some point. The reason I make the Brewers a slight favorite here is I am putting a little bit more. I think I'm putting a little bit more stock into a couple things than the books are. First, the fact that they are at home. I give them a little bit more of a bump for that. Second, I don't think the books can quantify Dave Roberts potentially screwing up a game, but I think he's going to screw up a game at some point. And I think the last 2, I mean, the last 2, they were right there to be screwed up, if you will, right? The game against the Phillies going into extras. Yesterday's game, I mean, Bryce Terang, obviously you don't try to get hit by a ball when it's all like you can't even think quick enough to be like, let this hit me. It's just a reflex. But I mean, that ball misses him by inches, and then he swings out a pitch out of the zone the end of the game. Like that could have easily, and the ball hit by Churio was a hard hit to drive the run in. Could have easily been a Brewers win last night. So I do think you're going to see at least 1 or 2 more games in this series that are close games like that. And I'll go back to what I said yesterday. Pat Murphy, I think, is a great manager. I really think that he is. Like, I did not know that this was going to be the case when Counsell went to the Cubs. Murphy takes over the team. I had no idea that what his managerial ability was going to be. He's been great. And so I've said it all playoffs. I really like to handicap the manager, what they're going to do, how they might manage a game, how I think that's going to put their team in either a position to win or to lose. And I just, for the most part, have liked the way Murphy manages his team more than Roberts, who we've talked about for years, is a little bit lost on the in-game side. I don't think Dave Roberts, I'm not going to come in like TB and say he's just trash. I don't think he's a bad manager, but I think what he does well is not X's and O's in game or push the right buttons in game. And that's where, like last night, perfect example. I'm not bringing Roki Sasaki into that game. Why? He's had issues with his confidence during his time in LA. I don't mind bringing him in out of the bullpen in a tie game at home with a 2-1 lead and being like, okay, give us some, let's see how it goes, right? Like that was the situation he came in against the Phillies. Game 4, it was tied. He's throwing, no question, the move to the bullpen has helped Sasaki. He's throwing harder. But on what planet did he just become your closer? Right? What have you seen in terms of his mental makeup during his time in LA that suggests that is your best option with a lead on the road? That was where I was just like, I didn't like that move at all. And it basically did backfire. Like they got away with it, but it, like you said, it pretty much backfired. He couldn't get the save. They then had to use Trinan. So I see a pretty big edge late in this game for the Brewers if they are tied or in the lead. And that's where it goes back to like my handicap of making the Brewers a slight favorite. I don't think Peralta and Yamamoto are that different from a like how I would price them. Mm-hmm. I understand Peralta maybe struggled a little bit against the Cubs, still had 15 strikeouts and 9 2/3. His overall season was very similar. I mean, the guy had a 1.08 ERA, a 2.70 WHIP. Both of these pitchers pitched roughly the same amount of innings during the regular season. Yamamoto's number slightly better, but I think I trust Peralta as the innings get up there a little more than Yamamoto. You know, last year, Yamamoto at the big league level, 90 innings during the regular season, then he pitched in the playoffs. I still think it's far more grueling to pitch here than in Japan. So it's like, you know, we saw the cracks a little bit for Yamamoto against the Phillies. I'm not going to count on him pitching. I'm handicapping this game thinking he's going to throw a good game because he's that good, right? Like I can't count on the Brewers getting to him, but I think it's reasonable to say that Peralta might be able to match him. And then if you get to those late innings, Brewers at home, I would give them a little bit of an edge being at home. Like if this game, Brian, I'll throw this back to you just to get your opinion on the way I'm looking at this. If this game is in the 7th inning or later and it's tied, would you rather have the Dodgers or would you rather have the Brewers like plus 110?
I would agree. I would like the Brewers, especially being at home in that situation. Yeah, this which is why I don't have a plan of the game. It's where I met it, and I don't force things. And we're up already 15 units in the baseball playoffs, so I'm not going to force anything. And that's something my clients know. I'm not a guy that, on Monday Night Football, I don't put out Monday Night Football plays unless I see some value in it. It's just the way I am. We're going to grind, and the whole key. Well, not the whole key, but one of the major keys when you're sports betting is having the ability to say, the line is right and I don't have a play. And if your handicapper is giving you plays on every game that's on TV, he's not trying to benefit you. And it's been a long time thing for me where I don't make as much money as the other guys do. And it's because I'm not going to force anything. And every company that sells picks has those kind of guys out there. If you want that action, don't choose me.
Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much like the fact that we that our thing is baseball just pretty much says that at this point, like that it's just not as popular as the other sports. But we could go back in yesterday's conversation. It is I truly believe if you're betting baseball, especially if you can incorporate some of the smaller markets, that's where you're going to win. And I think same thing with college basketball. I think if you can really get into the smaller leagues, you've got an edge. And I think you hockey handicappers from everything I've heard. And I know nothing about hockey. It is probably one of the more. It's probably. Would you, Bryan Leonard? I'm going to ask you a hockey question on a baseball show. Do you think hockey is the most beatable of the pro sports markets?
Definitely, because most people don't like playing favorite or don't like playing underdogs. And yesterday, and a lot of them take a look at shots on goal. Yesterday, there was 12 games, 10 games, 12 games. The team that won the game had less shots on goal in all but one game. It means nothing. Shots for Chicago, I think, was outshot like 40, or Toronto's game. They had 40-14 on shots on goal, and they lost. When the team takes the lead, they take the air out of the ball. Basically, it's not a hockey fit. It doesn't relate to hockey, but they come back and they tip it and they go back to defense. And so you have to handicap it totally differently. It's like in baseball, if a team gets more hits than the opposition, normally they're going to win unless the opposition hits more home runs than you do. So, yeah, every sport is different, and it's different ways to handicap. And I love playing underdogs. Yesterday, unfortunately, I didn't have any underdogs anywhere, but we won. But yeah, it's a situation for myself where I like playing the dogs. And in hockey, if you go to a hockey game, if you've ever seen a hockey game before, it can have a beautiful setup. They're passing the puck, and they got the guy set up, and he's just ready to crank on that thing. And he barely touches the puck, and it slides a little bit. It's very hard. It's a much more timing in hockey. It's sort of like baseball with swinging the bat. You got to have great timing. You got to have the great angle.
Well, a little promo for your hockey picks. Again, this is just me polling the all the sharp people I know that bet various sports, and from what I've gathered, it is the league, the pro league, right? I'm talking about major pro sports: baseball, football, basketball, hockey. It is the pro league that the sharp guys seem to attack. I don't, because I don't know anything about hockey. I couldn't tell you the first thing about the sport. But that's why I bet minor league baseball, Bryan. You got to get your edge somewhere, and everyone's edge is a little different. So check Bryan out for the hockey. I'm going to go to the comments for a second, see what people are talking about in pertains to this game here. Yeah, Blake Snell was awesome yesterday. Listen, I don't mind. We could talk about like second guessing all day and stuff. Listen, I probably would have let him go out there for the 9th just because it's like he had such a good game going, but he was right at that sort of 103 pitch mark where I understand, especially after the Dodgers got the second run. When I coached 15, 16, 17-year-old baseball at a high level for years. And I always sort of lean to giving my reliever a clean inning. I didn't like making a mess for my relief. If I knew that I was probably going to go to the pen, I typically wanted to do it at the beginning of the inning. So I'm not going to criticize Roberts for going to the bullpen in that spot. It's easy to say. I know Tokyo Brandon is very on like, how do you take starting pitchers out? How could you do it? The reason you do it, and the reason I have no problem with his decision to take Snell out there, is if you know you're going to do it, and if he puts a guy or two on, and you know you're going to the pen anyway, like, I get like wanting to give the guy a clean inning. I get wanting to give a guy like Roki Sasaki a clean inning, because that's not a guy I'm bringing into a mess. But at the same time, like, I just disagreed with using Sasaki as a closer. I think he's a nice bullpen piece. He's throwing harder, but I'm still putting a more seasoned closer like a Trinan or something into that spot, even though I'd rather have Sasaki throwing the ball right now over Trinan. I just think that there's a different, there's just it's very spot. Now, if that's a 0-0 game in the ninth inning, we'll throw Sasaki in there all day. That's a little bit different. But putting him in with like, okay, now you have to go and win this game and hold on, I didn't like that at all. And it just ties back into today. I think Roberts will he's going to be presented with a decision at some point in this series where it backfires on him. And I think that speaks to the overall sort of Dodgers. They've got a bunch of good arms, but who do you really want in like the big time leverage spot in that bullpen right now? Right? Like,
I had no problem with him bringing Sasaki in. I thought he proved himself before that. He just didn't have it. And it's going to happen. People just don't have it sometimes. The best in the business struggle sometimes. And I talked about Ohtani. So, it's I don't fault him for bringing Sasaki in. I fault him for bringing in Trinan. I wouldn't have even had Trinan on the roster if you ask me.
T. Fox says Milwaukee's a good team. Take the plus money again. Yeah, listen, I think the Brewers probably have as many different ways to win a game. Like, if you look at the four teams that are left, like, I look at the Brewers and say, okay, this team can do it a lot of different ways. That's the one thing I really like about this Brewers team, like, relative to the four teams that are still in it. Mariners, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Brewers. I think the Brewers can win a multitude of different ways. And I love that when it comes to, like, just even go back to the ninth inning, right? Like, they could not hit Blake Snell yesterday. Tip the cap. Blake Snell is a great pitcher. He's an ace. When he's on, he's just straight up nasty. I think he gave up one hit over 8 innings. Like, it was tremendous. Yeah. I don't fault the Brewers for that at all. Like, you ran into one of the best pitchers in the game who had his best stuff. Tip the cap. No problem with that. Still, ninth inning, they weren't deterred. Every person had a really good at-bat. Even the outs. Even the Churio out was a loud, productive out. Yelich having a good at-bat to continue the game. Contreras having a good at-bat to continue the game. Listen, Terang swung at a tough pitch. Like, it's tough. He was still ahead in that count at one point in time, I think. Or, he still battled up there a little bit. So that's the type of thing that makes me think, like, yeah, you're going to give me plus money with this team at home, backs against the wall. They can win a couple of different ways. Steve Duke says, I'm taking Brewers. No reason to hurry. Imagine everyone will bet Yamamoto. I believe in the Brewers and their lineup. Yeah, I think when you make the statement, I believe in the Brewers and their lineup, that's what you're believing in, is the fact that they've got different ways they can do it. They'll scrap out a hit. They'll move a runner up. They'll knock him in. Bryan, has any of these four teams done that better than the Brewers this season?
No, they're the most complete team when it comes to that. And if I find out that Smith caught yesterday, if I find out that they DH him and the line is the same as it is right now, I don't blame a single person for taking Milwaukee, because that's a big part of their game. And when you go up against, unfortunately, just about everybody in the playoffs has got a really good catcher that throws out. The big dumper is great at that. So that's the problem when you get this far into the playoffs. You're going to get teams that are able to do that. So we'll see what happens. If Smith DHs, I have no problem at all playing Milwaukee.
Rick Reynolds says, what separates the Brewers from everyone else is how many different ways they can beat you. Elite defense, elite athleticism. They can hit for power or play small ball, and they don't strike out. I think we've I think we could honestly substitute some of our guests for the third panelist a lot of times. There's a lot of smart.
We do.
There's a lot of smart comments in the chat on a daily basis. It's been that way all season. We very much appreciate all the interaction you guys have given us, and that I couldn't have said it better than Rick Reynolds right there. Like that is exactly how I view the Brewers as well, and that's why I think if you can weather the storm of Yamamoto, which I think Peralta is one of the few guys that I would be okay with weathering the storm with. I think you'll have an edge in the later innings of this game that is greater than like Brewers plus 110. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this. I'm not sure. I haven't bet it yet. I'm not sure if I'll get to the window with this one. As you said, it's really tough to bet postseason baseball every day, 1 or 2 games. The books are really not. They're not making mistakes, but the nice part about playoff baseball is you have so much more money in the market that sometimes the books have no choice, right? They have to price it in a manner that's going to generate the handle that they want to generate. And so I'm kind of with you, Brian. I may wait till lineups here. I don't know. I may bite earlier. I haven't decided yet. If you see a base, I'll tell you what, if you're watching this show, if you see a baseball play up for me today, priced for $5 on $5 Tuesday, it's probably the Brewers. I can't imagine I would bet anything else. I will be sort of thinking about that over the next couple hours, but it's Brewers or pass for me. I'm pretty confident in saying it's Brewers or pass for me in this spot.
Yeah, I just want to touch, it's not a baseball situation, but Brandon's not here today, and it had nothing to do with his comments about Canada. He's not getting death threats over there in Japan. But I will say, Blue Jays lose, hockey team loses, and a lot of people in Canada root for the Buffalo Bills because that's the closest team to Canada. Our friends up north are not in a happy mood today, so we'll see how it goes. But no, it has nothing to do with Brandon.
No, TB. Yeah, someone asked in the chat where he is. He had commitments we knew about today and tomorrow. So we will have TB back on Thursday, which I believe is when we'll be back to talking 2 games a day. Quick show today because there was only 1 game. Quick show tomorrow because there's only 1 game. But Bryan and Leonard and I will be here to break it down with you. It is $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk. So go check out all of the handicappers pages. From a value standpoint, especially during football season when people are putting football plays up for $5 that are only priced for $5 on Tuesday and then end up going back to full price, definitely something to take advantage of. So check that out on the site, and we will be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. to talk Mariners, Blue Jays Game 3. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Good luck, and we'll see you guys in the morning.